What's up, Rockstars, and welcome to the biggest video on this channel so far. This is going to be huge, guys. This has so much exclusive info to show you guys. Some brand new reveals, new board games you haven't even heard of yet. I got not only images and stuff like that, but I got details I'll be sharing along the way. This is definitely one for the record books, guys. I am covering a ton here, so let's get into it. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that this channel is possible. It's because this is a community-driven channel where I make videos for you guys just like this without taking any money from any game developer. So you know that if you hear my opinion on anything, it's my honest opinion, not my wallet's opinion. If you appreciate that level of independence, there is a link down below. And really just thanks, guys, for being here throughout this whole year. It's been a wonderful year, and I can't wait until the next year. Also, I am wearing some official merch. There is a link down below where you can find stuff just like this as well. Feel free to treat yourself to something nice and maybe stay a little warm. It's getting a little cold out there. At least it is here. Okay, now, with that out of the way, let me thank a few new patrons, and then we're going to jump right into it. So I'm going to go ahead and reference their names so I don't butcher it too much, but I just want to give a huge shout out to Just Kirkland. It's been a pleasure getting to know you over on Discord, Justin. And then there's Joe Gilmore. I apologize for missing you for a while, but here you are with an official shout out. Thank you so much for joining, Joe. And James Harris as well. I can't believe I missed you. You've actually been here for a little while now. And again, thank you so much for being here. Again, if you'd like to join them in that community, there is a link down below to that. Again, thank you so much. Okay, now, additionally, just as a blanket statement, first of all, thank you to all the game development companies that participated in this, that helped with this channel by giving me the information I needed, especially with such a quick turnaround. I know it's kind of hard to get things ready, and it's a big leap of faith to be able to show something early to the community. So for my community, you guys here that are watching this, I appreciate you guys being the kind of community that they can trust to start doing these early announcements to you guys. So thank you to them, and of course thank you to you guys as well. And none of this is final, right? All of this is like beyond prototype. Some of this is like barely even a thing. Like we're just getting into this. It's not even quite 2022 yet, and these are announcements well ahead of time. So everything is subject to change, even the stuff that's coming out just in January. So just as an FYI, what you see is early on a lot of this stuff, some more than others, but just keep that in mind going through it. Don't like get sold on something that you see thinking it won't ever change at all. That's not how Kickstarter works, and this is pre-Kickstarter. So there you go, fair warning there. Okay, now I'm going to start with a quick kind of rapid fire of games that I missed in my last video, but that we already know of, right? And so I might be showing a few new things here, just peppered throughout, but it wasn't enough to like really go to the second half of this video, which is the huge heavy hitters. These are the new things that I haven't covered yet. A lot of this stuff is big, but I've already covered it on the channel before. You guys know about it. It's not really something new per se, unless you're new to the channel, in which case, welcome. There's a subscribe button down there where you can get a lot of information through videos just like this. Okay, so starting things out, Batman Gotham City Chronicles. This is actually, I didn't put this in my last video because I had been in discussions with them and they had kind of hinted at something, but I didn't know for sure and I couldn't get it verified in time. They are going to have a single Kickstarter for the RPG and board game stuff. So the board game stuff is going to be a lot smaller, so you can expect half maps just like this. This is essentially a half of a map to the original kind of Gotham City Chronicles. So to give kind of a different feel where you're much more in your face with your opponent and stuff like that. And it's balanced obviously accordingly and stuff like that. But it's a very different thing. This is like the overhead blimp that you see over the city of Gotham. So there's like a map of kind of what you could expect. And as you can see, just just a few rooms. So they don't have the lines on here yet. This is just the art. We can kind of get a sense of that. And then there's going to be the RPG stuff as well. Now, the RPG stuff is going to allow you to be villains, or vigilantes, or cops, or anything like that. Whatever you want to do, it's kind of very open-ended when it comes to that. You could be metahuman. There's a huge variety of stuff there. As for the board game, it's not really going to be a whole lot of new like minis or anything like that. So don't expect to just be inundated with that kind of stuff. There will be some, but for the most part, it's focused on the solo co-op mode that is backwards compatible with every single thing they've made for Batman Gotham City Chronicles. So for all of Season 1 and Season 2, and then providing a new campaign using these smaller map tiles with some new minis, but also using up minis from Season 1 and Season 2, especially ones that are kind of only available in verses where you actually kind of build your own team and do that whole thing. So they're really focused on this one on just supporting what they already have and enhancing it with new game modes like the solo co-op, stuff like that. And then, of course, there is the RPG as well. Okay, so then we also have Bloodstone. This is returning to Kickstarter 2022. If you recall, this was in 2021. It was canceled. I did a whole why it failed video. You could reference that video if you want to kind of find out, okay, here's the issue, here's kind of what we were looking at. And they went and polled and got some feedback as well. And for the most part, the feedback was we need more content. So they're changing things up. They're going to have more content. And that's coming up actually pretty early in 2022 is my understanding. So that should be right around the corner. So if you're excited about that before, be excited now. I don't know if we'll learn anything more about the lore. We certainly learned a lot the last time. So hopefully the updates focus on something other than just the story, because not everybody cares about that, sadly. Okay, moving on from that, we have Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game. This is by Archon Studio. I have already shown this off. What I didn't show off is that they have updated their website, and so they have a few more stuff that you can kind of take a look at. You got a natural miniature showing up, and then you can see some of the cards. You can see kind of the match there, the world map, and how to kind of have a fog of war. You gotta go explore around it. You can see building your army of creatures. You got anything from a troglodyte, a minotaur, to the black dragon, and a Medusa, and a Centaur, all that kind of good stuff here. Like collected artifacts like the Titan's Gladius, and all sorts of cool stuff there. Magic, so you got Fireball, Stone Skin, Shield, all the good stuff you know and love. And then, of course, level up your hero with leadership and archery and stuff like that. And as you can see, there's a kind of maybe a rank 1, rank 2 thing going on there. So there's a lot of stuff you can kind of take a look at here. And then, of course, you can keep getting updates. I bet from here they'll keep updating this like they have already. So moving on from that, we also have Lobotomy to Manhunt. It's interesting enough, Lobotomy, before I even really got into board games, I just had 2, and I was just looking at Kickstarter. I saw Lobotomy and I was like, that looks really cool. And then I didn't get it. It was not my first Kickstarter, but I was starting to look at Kickstarter at that time. But it's a very interesting style because it's both a serious kind of horror thing, but it's also kind of satirical and kind of goofy as well. And you'll see that in how the art is kind of cartoony as well. Yet you're still dealing with terrible stuff too. It's a very unique game by the looks of it, but they are making a second one. As you can see, here's an example of some of the things they have. Here's Harold the Thunder Scar and Joanna Justice, and you get these kind of crazy characters, and you can see you can get a scythe and a straitjacket. It's wacky, it's wild. Here's another picture. This is from the prototype in Essen, so people were taking pictures there, so you can see a ton of cards, lots of minis. You're going on the board, you're moving around, you're doing all that kind of normal stuff. And the last Kickstarter had some joke stretch goals as well. Think kind of like a Come On Zombicide style thing. They had one guy called essentially Bardock from Dragon Ball Z, and he had yellow hair and everything, but he was, again, insane like everybody else is here. It is a little bit different. They've updated several things in it. There's a Board Game Geek post. You can go check that out, where they actually kind of specify, okay, here's a lot of the differences. Everything from the story to how the maps work to the scenarios and the story there and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of changes there. Next up, we have Street Fighter V Champion Edition. This is coming to GameFound by Blacklist Games early 2022. Now, I have this here so you guys know, because I know a lot of you are big Street Fighter fans. I am as well, which is why I got the Jasco stuff. So this obviously is interesting. However, I do want to warn you guys that the reason it's on GameFound is because Blacklist Games can't post on Kickstarter right now because they have too many unfulfilled campaigns. But they're unfulfilled undeterminate. They haven't even told you why. They're just like, hey, there's a reason, we got to do something, and it's kind of messy right now. So just word of warning on that. I don't want to send you guys somewhere and get you guys in trouble and get you guys like messed up. So just do your own research on that. Go ahead and check their other stuff with Kickstarter, check the comments, see what people are talking about. Maybe ask around in the comments below. I'm sure there's plenty of people there, both for and against it. Just wanting to let you guys know on that one. I included it here, but with kind of a little asterisk. Okay, you know, watch out there. Okay, next up we have Slay the Spire, the board game. Not a lot of info in this. In fact, since this announcement and this page right here, there hasn't been a lot of announcements. There's not a lot of information there. So sadly, that's the case. Again, you can try and do some research. There's always Board Game Geek and of course other websites that could talk about it and stuff like that. But I'm assuming it's coming in within a year. So here it is on 2022, but beyond that, don't know a whole lot, sadly. Okay, also Mortal Kombat 11. I have shown this off, since like forever. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, more than Street Fighter actually. So very interested in this. So here we got Liu Kang here. In fact, I hope we even get the new movie versions, because I actually liked the new movie, and so hopefully we can get that. But either way, I like to see all the fire. That's super cool, and what a unique concept to have them go almost backwards like that. Like that's not a miniature pose I have seen very often, so that's pretty cool. Last I heard, along with a lot of the other IP stuff, I've heard from several game development companies that are getting stuff approved through IP, like through a company, in this case Capcom, and the delay is like really bad, especially during COVID. Like it slowed down more than it already did, and so there are. I know Jasco's trying to get this pretty much already like signed off on before they go to Kickstarter, because Street Fighter they didn't, and delayed because they were really slow. So Capcom was already slow, so I'm sure it's really slow there. But I'm expecting it to come out here in 2022, and I'm excited to get it. I actually quite liked the Street Fighter one. Again, there's an unboxing review to that and a host of other things on the channel. Okay, Avalonia. This is by Farside Games. They did the Epic 7 game, if you recall. I covered that in 2021, this year. And in 2022, they have Avalonia. They will be sending this to me, so I'll be able to unbox it and hopefully even review it for you guys here. Actually, quite soon, like in January. So expect that very soon here. And it is wild. It is crazy. It is... Okay, so it's essentially like King Arthur based post-apocalyptic 2 to 4 player game, where there's like these mutations that have gone around to everybody, but then like there's the purebloods and I mean, as you can see, the style, the world that you're in, the post-apocalyptic kind of world, is a huge range. I mean, here's like these weird buildings, and then I don't even know what's going on with that top one. But then they have like minis like this, and you're like, what in the world? Like I love unique stuff like this. I really do. There is nothing else in my game collection that is anywhere close to that thing. That's hardcore. He's got like little pincers coming out, and it's like strapped on him, and he's got like a weird head thing and one eye, and like, I don't know. But it's also like hardcore, like it kind of reminds me a little bit of Hate, and a little bit too, like we see justice and blood. Like that's freaking awesome. That's one of the factions. There's other factions as well. Some of them not quite so, we're going to kill you and kill you again and again as this one, but super cool. Okay, so here you can see some of their larger minis. They do have some quite large minis. I believe this is probably King Arthur, but can't confirm that obviously. But I know, like, you're trying to, like, I think resurrect him or something like that. There's some wackiness going on. He, like, unleashed Excalibur, whatever the heck that even means. That's what I was told. They unleashed. So, Excalibur was unleashed. People started mutating. Dystopia everywhere. And I guess we're trying to bring him back. I don't know. I want to bring him back. Character design, just super, super interesting. It reminds me a little bit of the others. If you recall the others, the art style kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I don't think it's Adrian Smith, who's a great artist, by the way, but, and whoever's doing this is great too, but just that same kind of, I don't know, I couldn't put my finger quite on it to summarize it really well, but the style, both the subject, how it's taken and how it's drawn remind me a little bit of the others, and that is definitely a compliment. So here is actually how the game looks a little bit. You can kind of see this, and yes, there are some design spotlights as well. So it says Avalonia is a strategic board game for 2 to 4 players, a competitive territory control game. In addition to fighting other factions, you're also trying to maintain King Arthur's threat level. So that's the thing too. Yeah, you gotta deal with him. So you can see him on the side there. Lots of tokens. So you can see like your little board here. And in fact, speaking of your little character boards, here's like one faction here, and then here's another faction here. You can kind of see they range from like, okay, this is kind of like Bane, to what the heck's on your back, to hey, you look actually kind of normal. So a big wide variety of hero profile cards there. And yeah, I'll be showing more obviously in the future with an actual unboxing where I'll show you everything. And then of course a review where I'll tell you exactly how much I liked it. Okay, moving on. We also have the Dark Quarter. This is by Lucky Duck Games partnering with Van Ryder Games. It takes place in the 1980s. And it's in New Orleans. So it's a very, very interesting setting, to say the least. Now, what the heck's going on? Why she's talking about a convent? Why she's talking about getting hungry? I don't know. Now, this is a mature game. They're suspecting 16 to 18 plus. I don't know how much of that is just like a story, how much of that is visual. We don't know. So we'll find out, obviously. But yeah, there's some craziness going on there for sure. Awesome art. I really dig the style. Very kind of stylized and texture, which I really like. But because it's, you know, it is their normal kind of app-driven thing, I believe. So you'll see it'll be app-driven and somehow, but how, I don't know. We'll find out more. They've been teasing it, but I guess they're going to be teasing it a lot more come January. So you're going to see a lot more of this here real soon. Okay, next up, we have Spectre, the board game. This is kind of cool because it's like the bad guys. This is from Modifius, and you can see here that it's like a kind of a more Euro-ish style map, but you are playing as kind of the bad guys and Spectre, trying to be the best bad guy while 007 is foiling your plans and stuff like that. It seems to be very thematic of the actual source material. Like if you actually capture him, then you reveal your plan or whatever, kind of like, you know, they do in the movies, of course. And you have like your henchmen that you're trying to like go on. There's a lot of player interaction though for a Euro, so you're actually blocking people, and you can interact with their people and do different things like that. And you're just trying to be the best bad guy you can be. You know, just doing your thing. I don't know the exact timeline on that, but sometime next year, obviously. Okay, next up we have this one. This is kind of cool. So this is the fantasy version of Core Space. If you recall, I covered Core Space and Core Space First Blood. Some of my patrons absolutely love this. They've said I would love it. It looks like I'd love it. So definitely interested. That was a sci-fi Core Space. It's the space part. This is going to be a fantasy version of that. I don't know what it'll be called, like Core Space Fantasy. I'm not sure. They are very big on terrain as well. So expect that as well. But obviously miniatures, and quite well designed miniatures, if you ask me, both in kind of uniqueness. Like I love the kind of the wrapped cowl that they have here, but then the belts on the cape part, it's kind of interesting. And then, you know, the sword plus gun. This almost reminds me a little bit of Bloodborne, which again is always a good thing. So excited to see more about that for sure, because this looks great. Okay, next up we have Solar 175. This looks interesting as well. It's another more Euro-based style game, but the art reminds me a little bit of Gaijin, and that's a good thing. Very cyberpunky, very, typical neon stuff. But then they have stuff like here too, where you're like in these dust clouds up above. So it's an epic bag building legacy game for 1 to 5 players set in a dark dystopian future. And they go like full Blade Runner here. So I'm going to show a little bit more, but as you can see, looks super cool. Like the art here is just gorgeous. I love the fact that we get to play with such awesome, good looking board games. These are super cool, and I love them a lot. Like that is super Blade Runner-y though. Maybe because it's raining, I guess. So to me, and crowded street, you know, kind of compact, you know, that whole thing. Next up, we have Reaper Bones 6. That is coming out in 2022. Yes, this is a screenshot of Discord. I do what I can, okay, guys? Sometimes this is really early, but Bones 6 is coming out in 2022, so expect that soon. Also, they announced BaseBoss on Kickstarter, and this was on the 21st, September 23rd, 2021. They had done a BaseBoss previously, so they're going to be doing, I guess, a BaseBoss 2, but they didn't put a number there. They just put BaseBoss, so I don't know. This is what we got. So It's whatever. Next up, we have City of Chaos. This is by Ares, and they are working with the original guy, a fantasy adventure game. It looks like really, really like an RPG's person's dream, in my opinion. It looks really cool. Based off of the original one, that's, I guess, really hard to get. I didn't know it was really hard to get, but yeah, it definitely unique, right? So here's some of the info here, and this will be on Kickstarter. So we got like a wolf's head, and we got this assassin here, and you can join the Mesmerist guild, and you can go across the stables. And I mean, you can go ahead and pause this and read a lot of this stuff. Very, very cool. A lot of RPG goodness here. Comes to learning new spells, and you can control your opponents, and you can greet, help, or threaten when you interact with the assassin, and it sounds really cool. It really does. Now, they also announced War of the Ring card game. This is a card game based off War of the Rings, which is super cool. They don't know if this is going to be on Kickstarter or not. We'll have to wait and see. This is an early prototype, work in progress, obviously, where they're looking at it. But again, who knows exactly where this ends up, but it will end up somewhere, ideally on our tables. Definitely am a fan of Lord of the Rings IP, and I love card games, so color me interested. So this should be kind of interesting on how they capture that kind of classic board game and make it into a card game. It'll be kind of neat to see. Okay, that is it for that. Okay, so now we go to the big ones. So strap in, and if you skipped to this part, welcome. I know there are a lot of timestamps down there for you guys, but yeah, this is going to be big. I'm excited. I hope you know. I haven't been more excited to tell you guys of anything ever. Like, this is just going to be so much fun. Okay, Kingdoms Forlorn. You guys know about this, but you haven't seen this image, so there you go. In fact, you haven't seen a lot of this stuff. So if you recall, I showed this guy off, but miniature, not the actual art. So here's the art. One thing you can totally tell with these little tendrils coming up here. The title of the art is called Puppet King. So color being interesting, and that is a huge freaking sword as well. Okay, and he must have some cold freaking feet. My goodness, dude, put some socks on. Okay, now this is fun. I had commented, there was like this purple flying thing. It looked just like this in the art. I decided just to show this. I have a ton of stuff anyway. It's going to be miniature, which is super cool. These are called Devour Dragons, and literally they float up like helium balloons almost. So they're in the sky, but then they constantly eat, and as they eat and gorge themselves, they get bigger, but the bones and stuff like that don't digest, don't pass through the system. So over time, the more they eat, the bigger they get, the heavier they get, and they start falling down until the point where they get so big they can actually are on the ground. They can't even fly anymore, and they can like eat a knight on his horse in one swallow. So super cool idea, very cool enemy. I love the kind of like, okay, it's a dragon, but let's do something different. We already saw the toad dragon before as well, so super cool. Now, you may also remember, that's me covering the Princess and Prince's miniatures line that they did. This is literally from my previous video. Link down below. There's a ton of stuff that isn't in this video that is in that video. So between the two, like that was over 50 games alone right there. So there's a ton of info on what's coming up in 2022. But I decided, you know what? Let's see if I can get some miniatures. So first of all, another art piece that you haven't seen yet. This is, I forget it. This is Delphinia. And Delphinia has some crazy hair. It reminds me of the Funeral Witch from Etherfields. That's a compliment. Now, not to just leave you with art, let's look at another piece of art and then some minis. Here's another princess as well. This is Guineria, I believe. Anyway, yeah, very interesting makeup for sure. The headpieces are cool, and super long hair, like really long hair, like Tifa level hair. Like that's a lot of hair. Okay, enough teasing. Here's some minis. Here are the 4 that we have seen now. They showed the 2 before. I showed these 2 now. Here's all 4 in their renders. This will be available here, I think, quite soon, because I think they're wanting to do this as its own campaign before Kingdoms Forlorn. So this will definitely be coming here soon. And yeah, it's going to be really, really good. I can tell you right now that painting all those fungi will be super cool. But I love that they included the bird. I love the fact that that hair is so prominent. I love the kind of the ice dripping in the back, that whole thing. And then the like really intricate work on the collar here and all that kind of stuff looks great. Okay, next up, Euthia, Torment of Resurrection. Boom, it's right there. I will be unboxing that and reviewing that. So if you want to see that, that can be your video in your feed soon. Just click that subscribe button with the bell icon, of course. 8.9 on Boardgame Geek. People are loving this. I just checked the Kickstarter before this video, and people are getting it, and they're excited. It's like an early Christmas gift. Super great to be delivering around Christmas time. That's just fun anyway, I think. They will be having a game, and I want to make sure I get this right. It is called Fierce Powers. It is a new expansion that just slots right in and enhances the game with more stuff. They are also, and this is my favorite part, introducing a new class that is a pet class. I love pet classes. I love pet, and I love wolves. So they got wolves, but they got some big monster enemies as well. I think they mentioned golems, but either way, it's this fierce power thing. But they're also going to have like, a whole bunch of other stuff available as well. And then of course a reprint. So if you see the 8.9 BGG, if you hear everybody talk about it, if you like what you see when I unbox and review and stuff like that, you can get it as well. Very smart to deliver it and then launch. This will be on GameFound, I believe. But it's just great to ride that launch wave, right? Or that delivery hype, right? So you make a good game, you deliver a good game, people are excited, and you say, hey, here's some more. It's a good way to do it, I think. I think that's awesome. Okay, moving on. We have Oathsworn. This is from Shadowborn's Games. This is the only thing they would give me because they're so focused on delivering the Oathsworn, which is great. I think that's awesome. I was glad I was able to feature them. You guys can discuss what this is. This is what I got. I have a feeling we're gonna look like this by the time we find out. It's what it feels like sometimes. But and if 2022 is anything like 2021, maybe. But no. Anyway, this is what you got. So there you go. There's a tease for what's next. Okay, next up, Limbo Eternal War 1.6. Look at that. That is freaking amazing. That is a great freaking image. But not to be outdone, we also have this here as well. So they're going to have a kind of a dragon versus sorcerer. And there's going to be a lot of undead. I am looking so forward to an undead lord. Yes, please. Thank you. I want an undead only faction. So it'll be very cool to kind of see some of the updated new stuff here. That is some great freaking art, by the way. That looks fantastic. Here is the sorcerer himself battling the dragon, maybe summoning some undead. Maybe the dragon is, who knows? We'll find out, I suppose. Very, very cool, though. A lot of good painting things there. And I love this texture that it looks like I think they painted, like they added to it, which is awesome. But then the gemstones and the fire, and there's this the metal. There's a lot of painting goodness there. Now, not to be outdone, they also have Ling Cage Incarnation. This is actually a very popular, I think, web-based anime kind of style video series, I believe, in China. So they will be doing a Chinese campaign for this here, I think in like January, like very soon. And then it'll come over to the US once the US gets distribution rights, whether it shows up on Netflix or wherever it ends up going. But I'm going to show you some stuff anyway. This is what he sent me, but he sent me some more stuff for before, and I'm going to show that with you too. So here is some like early location stuff where you can kind of see the style, the setting, but then there's also like these kind of interesting inner parts. As you can see, a lot more color, which is kind of nice to see. The enemies there, this is like generic type 1, like they're wild, they're crazy. This is, again, just like one kind. They got like hand arms, and there's like 6 of them, and also they have freaking mechs with swords. Heck yes, and it'll be in hips. So they have these kind of guys in hips, and it looks freaking awesome. I can tell you that much already. That's all I'm going to share of it. There's more, but yeah, there you go. That's coming as well. Okay, next up, Anastyr by Mythic Games. I have quite a few things from Mythic Games that I'm going to share with you guys. This one I have known about for a while, and I've had to keep mum about it, and it's been so hard. And I'm so glad to be able to talk to you guys about it. This might be one of my favorite ones for this coming up year, and it's coming up here pretty soon too. So this is Anastyr. It is Q2 2022 is what it's set for right now. And I shared this image first. He wanted me to share the next image, so I'll go into that one. It's right here. Okay, so he wanted me to share this one first, but I liked the big art first, and then you can get the detail instead of getting the detail and then go into the art. So I'm sure they're okay with that. But I just wanted that full-blown image of that. So what's cool about this? Obviously a lot of it. Mega Metro City. It was something I backed. It was canceled. Sadly, it looked amazing. It was very much the kind of side scroll and beat 'em up X-Men, the Dungeons and Dragons games. There was like a dozen of them there. They had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? You could play them in the arcades. They were a lot of fun, and it was styled like that for the 80s. Well, not to leave a bad game unmade. Mythic Games came and got a hold of that, and so got kind of that system, but then did this whole Anastyr world, which there has actually been some minis of this before in this world, so you can kind of investigate that, which is kind of cool. It is a little bit more fleshed out fantasy world in that sense. However, these are all new minis, 100% of them, and they look awesome. Sculpted bases, you can see. I'm really excited. You can do everything you would expect to do on these kind of games, where you can like jump on a mount, right, and do that. You get knocked off the mount. You can attack while on the mount. It's gonna be awesome. So let's take a look. Here's some art, right? So you can see very drastically different art or locations. So you have like this, and then you have like this. So all three of these locations look so different, which I really appreciate. The world seems super cool to me. Here's some map tiles, so you can kind of see. And again, it's that whole thing where you're moving across, and the map, tiles keep coming. You'll notice that there are some places you cannot go to, so you can kind of move around and stuff like that. You'll be fighting enemies while on these tiles. Now, here is kind of the main characters here from what I can tell. I will be having an early look at this as we get closer to it, and I will be sure to do a details video, tell you guys all the specifics, more about gameplay, mechanics, the actual things you'll be doing, instead of this high level stuff. So stay tuned for that. And again, if you are interested in that, link down below, of course. What I want to point out here is how freaking awesome this sword is. There was a character in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children that has the dual bladed. I love it. It's great. But then you also have, the whole, like, I don't even know what they call that, with the little fan on the outside. And then you have this guy with the big pointed, kind of big giant triangle kind of sword. And then you have this chick with spiked shield. So very different weapons, which I love seeing. I think that's fantastic. Super cool. All right, let's keep going, because there's more. So here's Conrad. We kind of already saw him. He's got the kind of the spiked bladed stuff here. And very interesting shoes as well. And then you have this character here, which I love the pose of. Very roguelike in a very cool way. And the mask is super neat as well. Got all the like throwing daggers on both legs. Lots of cool stuff there, and a great, interesting pose as well. This guy, though, is probably my favorite. This guy looks freaking boss. I love this guy. I mean, just his weapons, his stance, his like flowing coat here, his helmet, everything about this guy looks freaking sweet, in my opinion. And then of course you have the trolls, which look awesome. Love it. And I love the color. These would be so fun to paint with like a kind of a gray, blue, purplish kind of skin color. Heck yeah. And the scale. The trolls are big. And that person looks cool too, so I can't wait to see them. So, okay, that is Anastyr. Again, I will have a details video probably like in January, like very soon. I'll get it as soon as I can. I'll put it that way. I'll put together a details video, and then of course eventually you will be getting an unboxing and an early review from me. So very, very excited to kind of get some more info on this when they're ready. It might be after their Rise of the Necromancer campaign, which again was in the last video, so you can check that out as well. And I think that's January. That's in like less than a month. Okay, now Q3, they have Deadlands, the board game. If you're not aware of Deadlands, Pinnacle Entertainment Group made Deadlands. It's kind of like a alternate reality, slight sci-fi steampunkish kind of Wild West, world, I guess, kind of. It's like Mad Max meets a Western. About how much I have it. They have a lot of other RPG stuff. This will be a board game on it. So this is all I have. 2022 announcement, and then some art. She's got some electro whip here and a gun, and that dude's just gonna like literally beat you to death with his mustache. Don't mess with that guy. Holy crap. So that'll be coming up again, like halfway through the year. Okay. Then we have this one. This is Q4, and I don't even get a name for this one. I have an abbreviation, but I'm not even going to say that because I didn't say I could, so I won't. So you guys can just guess what you want. So some borders must be crossed. One thing I noticed, obviously there's a V, right? There's a very prominent V, but then it almost seems like this is like part of a V too. So it's like it's definitely set in, and it looks like it's getting like you have like the regular face, right? And then you have like this like kind of form-fitting skull mask kind of thing, and then you got full-on skull. So as you get in deeper, it obviously is getting more skull-like. And these eyes are glowing, and none of these are. So that's what I gather from it. You guys let me know if you notice anything else, or if you have any inklings or ideas. Literally, I don't know much about it. I got an abbreviation, so I'm not even holding information back from you. I just don't know. I'm sure we'll find out though. And when we do, I will be covering it. You can bet. All right, next up is Crowd Games, or Crowd D Games. I don't know, or Crow D Games. I don't know how to say it. Either way, the main focus here, I think, is on this one. This is a secret project that they're working on, and I must say the art looks cool as well. So excited to see what they have coming up in 2022. It looks like two things. Okay, Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. I actually have a prototype of this, so you can expect an unboxing and a review. Again, early for you guys. I will be getting that out. And yeah, so you'll see a lot more. This is some new reveals of some characters. Love the hair, by the way, and love the beard. That's not done nearly enough in miniatures, my opinion. So definitely like that. And obviously the style and everything's good. The only thing I think I could wish for is a sculpted base. A man can always wish for a sculpted base. Again, this is great too. Great facial feature. It definitely matches the whole, a very natural looking thing too. Like her thumb isn't straight up or anything like that. It's very much like I just did this casually, which I very much appreciate. So that's really nice. It looks like this is cinched in the back because like you notice how it's like pretty form-fitting up here, even though she's like flourishing, but it looks like it's kind of meant to be that way. So that's kind of nice to see. Otherwise, it would almost be billowing out, I feel. And then you obviously got the armor set still going on there too, and a huge freaking gun. And then you have freaking Katana Lady here. This is Luna, and I think it's a red and a blue kind of like glowy saber stick, not lightsaber. Love the hairstyle though, and not just like how it's styled, but how it's sculpted. So you have like the small strands and then the big strands. Very interesting way to do it. And I think it looks quite good. I also love how she is on both sides of the base. She's like base to base, like all the way at the end and still going over. Love it. I think that's awesome. Okay, next up, some Middara stuff. And I got some stuff here. Okay, this is the Pit Boss. This will be coming up very soon, actually. And as you can see, it is adorable. Oh my gosh, they look so cute. Okay, so that is kind of them on the way to the Pit Boss. In fact, maybe you can even see him down there. Who knows? Either way, looks super cool. I have some more images, but I'm not going to show, like, I have a ton. Like, I can't share everything. So this is just enough to whet your appetite. We'll be hearing more about that. I think by the end of the month, actually, they'll be talking about this. So excited to see that. And then, of course, there's going to be an armor set with it too. So I've seen the armor set, and I think it looks great. It's very cool, very colorful, blue and yellow and red. It's like full primary color. It's going to be bright. It's going to be cool. I like it. Okay, now, you can't have Middara without pirates. Everybody knows this. So this is the Pirates of Avalonia. We'll be hearing more about this as well. My favorite part of this, the little crabs. The little crabs are excited. I love it. I think that's great. I think this one's titled, This is a Stick Up. And she's not very happy about this, but this dude just comes charging in, which I think is great. And again, he's wearing like a teal aqua, like, trench coat and bright green pants. And it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And probably my favorite character. I think she looks awesome. I can't wait to see how her hair looks out. I think that's great. And I love that she has like the like goggles block, right? Like she's obviously been busy building stuff and mining and doing stuff. You can see kind of the dirt on her like bandage sock things too and stuff. So very, very, very cool character, I think. Okay, now there will be more art in the next adventure book. So they have a ton of art and a ton of artists now. And so in the first one, the adventure book is kind of just story. And the new one, you're going to have a lot more images to go along with it, which is great. It definitely helps set the mood. And I think that's just a great thing to do to kind of show off, okay, here's what, the characters are doing, whatever. Here's another one. I think this one's called Friend in Need. Probably my favorite one. I just think it's really, really cool. I love the kind of the shyness there. I love the kind of like grogginess, maybe a little bit sadness there, and then handing the item here. This is just concept art, but I can't wait to see the final portion of this. Might be my favorite art piece of the whole thing, just because there's a lot of emotion there to digest, I think, in a very cool way. This one is also, I think, like a Friend in Need, or maybe I'm mixing them up. Either way, there's obviously some stuff going on there. They're kind of hanging out, talking, going through some stuff, messing with some stuff in there. Just, again, really, really, I like it. I started with the party one, but only because it was colored. These are the ones I actually really like. I love where they're going with this. I really do. I think there's so much character just in how they're sitting, just in how they're standing, right? It just really good stuff. Really good stuff. Okay. This is Middara Beyond the Veil. This is cool. So we're talking new residents. We're talking an RPG. Now, this is still stuff in the future, obviously. I think the residents will be ready by Valentine's Day. They typically do a Valentine's Day. Kingdom Death Monster is Black Friday. Middara is very much Valentine's Day. I think it's very fitting. Okay, so as you can see, we got some modern-ish kind of stuff here going on, which is very cool. And then we got the fantasy stuff. And you can see that kind of still propagating. In this case, it's almost reversed, right? Where the portal's opening up to the fantasy. Then you have the kind of the modern day stuff as well. Very, very cool. And again, love the colors and all that kind of stuff. That's great too. But then you got some wild stuff going on too, with whatever the heck that is. That is disgusting. Okay, here is one of my favorite ones. They got like these paint brushes going around, and as you can see, they're like covered in paint. And I love how like her hair is kind of like the paintbrush dipped in paint. I think that's great. You can see like they're almost painting this thing, and her hair, like the style of it is awesome. And you're gonna get a resin miniature. The hair, again, love the hair on both of them. I think very, very cool. And then the paint coming up like that, just so awesome. So anyway, there is going to be a lot of stuff there. I know you guys are interested in the RPG. No, there's no mechanic picked yet. It'll be whatever makes sense for the game. It's still in development. I was told you guys should definitely bug Brooklyn about it. He would love nothing more than to get a whole bunch of messages on their Discord that'll be linked down below, asking every little question about it. So feel free to bug him for that. And I'm sorry, Brooklyn. Next up, Celestial. This is going to be super cool. I get to show so much. Now, I have a ton of detail, like actual detail about the actual game. I'm not going to go over that. I'm going to say high level. There will be a details video. I'm going to work and make sure I get everything right and actually get a little bit more information. I'll have a dedicated details video of Celestial here very soon for you guys. So I'll be doing the kind of the legwork to get that, and you'll just have to wait a little bit longer while I do so, but it'll be worth it in the end. I'll try to tell you all about it. Okay, new logo. There it is. That's kind of the official logo now of Celestial. I love the how it's stylized different here than here. I think it's very fitting for the theme. Okay, so here it is. We have episode 1, The Hidden Void, and episode 2, The Dark Origin. So it looks like a kind of a 2-box system going on, which is pretty normal. You can see the new logo for Dimension Games as well, but I've already shared that before. So, okay, what does that look like? Well, first, I know you guys were curious about the bases. So they had the 75mm adventure line that they've been having, and you can use those in the game. That still works. They're going to be big minis. However, you had stuff like this where it's like, okay, he's riding on his like carapace shell thing. How is that going to be on there? Well, all of the minis have this base here, this kind of stylized base, and then they actually put him on a little swirly thing. So sometimes you'll have terrain inside this middle part. That's how they're stylizing it. So there you go. And you can see kind of the final plastic version of him style-wise. Okay, I teased this. These are the faction symbols for him. So this is, one of them. And then here's another one. And then here's another one. And feel free to pause if I'm going too quick. And then here's the last one. So 4 different factions, and they all have kind of their faction logo symbol thing, which I think is super cool, very stylized, very crazy. And now some really cool minis. Yeah, I love the fact that it's not just one hoof thing, it's like multiple, and then he just has like a stump here, but what a cool, like, oh man, that's just freaking sweet. That's what he is. Okay, there you go. You can start looking. There's a whole bunch of them there for you guys. I'm gonna look into, oh, look at that one. I'm gonna go into detail on some of these here real soon, but here it is. So here's all the ones from episode 2, the origin. This mini, by the way, is like that big. Okay, I mean, if you think about it, he's halfway to the box, and game boxes are like that. So he's a big boy. These are big minis, and as you can see, there's other big ones here as well. Yeah, super exciting. There's one I don't think I saw. Maybe it was in the previous one. I'll show you at the end. There's literally like, you'll see. It's wild. These minis, though, again, I have nothing else like this. It's based off Chinese mythology. I've already told you guys that. Oh my good grief, look at this guy. This is like if Hollywood remade Dragon Ball Z live action and had Cell, he would look like this. I feel like that's going to suck up Android 17. I just know it. Yeah, again, love the skulls and the faces, and it's just wild and crazy and very interesting. And like every single mini, you're just like, what's going on there? I want to know more about that. Like, what the heck? Like, what happened to this lady? Oh my goodness. Crazy. Wow. I love it. There's so many cool stuff. Yeah, really excited for this. And again, I will tell you all about the game, the actual game mechanics, the game details, why the heck this person is the way they are. It looks like they just read something super exciting. Whoa! Love this one. I love the sculpted the kanji on there too. I think it's really, really cool. Here's Nua. She's not new, but she's one of my favorites, so I wanted to share her. Her face, just awesome. I love the expression that she has of it fits her story of being on the run and being a prophet, and the more you know about the story, the more this fits. Just looks great. Looks great. Okay, there's that kind of big boss guy here. This guy's huge. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's a thick boy. That is for sure. And there's there's like tentacles on his back. I don't know, whatever. Okay, this one, I don't know where to begin. This is like a chick like coming out or being drawn out. It looks like, or at least the DNA is like, I don't know if, I think it feels like she's like coming out, like being drawn out of this person, like they're giving birth to this other being or something like that. Wild. That's all I'm saying. And then for all you Kingdom Death Monster fans out there, we got a whole bunch of fingers and fingernails, and the nails freak me out so much. And you got like little hands here, and I just okay. Yeah, okay, we'll move on from that one to my favorite guy of the whole bunch. You've seen him in like a kind of a crappy, cell phone shot. Here's a much better view of him. That I have the back view as well of him hanging the person down. Maybe I'll share it in my details video. I love this though. I love that he has a face, but it's covered. I love that then he has another face that's uncovered. And it's like 2 layers, right? He's got like teeth coming out of his freaking nose, and he's got like a bottom jaw there, and then a second bottom jaw. The huge club with skulls on it. There's just so much to kind of look at this guy and be like, what is going on here? A very kind of Oni-like thing where he's got like the faces on his knees. I know that can happen a lot. So anyway, yeah, awesome stuff. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was a lot. If there's something I missed, please let us all know in the comments. As always, I'll cover it. Any way I can, I'll pin it. There's a ton of links in the description, at least of what I have. There's not as much as the first, well, there's more because it's all the first ones plus these new ones. However, not everything here has a link. Okay, so I'll send you where I think you can go for more information, stuff like that. But otherwise, it's pretty early. I hope you appreciated this video. If you did, please feel free to share it with somebody that it might help. It's always good to know what's coming out so that you know what to wait for. Like if Celestial looks really, really good to you and it's not out yet and you're seeing this other game and you're like, oh man, do I want that? Well, maybe you need to save up for Celestial. If you know it's coming, you can save up for it. Or you can know, yeah, for what we know, I'm pretty good and this is really the pick I want. I'm going to get that. Either way, hopefully it was helpful for you. So if it's helpful for somebody else, feel free to share it. And if nothing else, if you appreciated the hours of work this took, there's that like button down below. And if it was really helpful, and you can, even $1 a month, there's a link to Patreon down below as well. Or, you could get a cool sweater, hoodie, or a t-shirt. Those are all down in the links below as well. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great holiday season, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Take care. Bye, guys.